One of the most popular stories I've heard over the years is that the Sex Pistols supposedly kicked off the punk explosion in 1977, releasing their iconic song Anarchy in the UK as the first punk single ever in the UK. Sure, it sounds plausible, and the Sex Pistols have certainly been vaulted to a very revered status. But is it true? Well, no, it isn't. Not even remotely. The single of Anarchy in the UK was released on November 26, 1976. But fellow UK punkers, The Damned, released their brilliant single New Rose more than a month earlier than that. Also, the entire Nevermind the Bollocks, Here Come the Sex Pistols album was released in October of 1977. And a massive array of bands, from The Clash to The Damned to The Adverts and so many others, had already released other singles and full albums before that even hit shelves. So while Anarchy in the UK and the Sex Pistols may have been marketed as the beginning of punk in the UK, it's just not true. The second myth I want to dig into today comes from the world of hip-hop, where a tough history or image can make or break you as an artist. For this myth, we turn to Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and the story that he was shot 9 times. This is far beyond the stories of most tough MCs, but is there any truth to these claims? Actually, yeah, there is, and in fact, there's more than claims. There's a police report, there's a medical report. However, many people will debate the actual number of times he was hit. In May of 2000, before he released his massively popular Get Rich or Die Trying record, Jackson was leaving his grandmother's house in the Queens borough of New York City. After entering his friend's car, another car pulled up, a man got out and fired 9 rounds into the window. At least some, if not all of them, hit Jackson, injuring his hands, his chest, his face, and other parts. And the MC has repeatedly pointed to this moment as the point in his life that he decided to really get aggressive with his career. He also claims that it was the bullet that he took to the face that made his tongue swell up, causing the slight lisp you can hear on many of his tracks. However, many people have claimed that only 3 of the 9 shots actually hit him, and they point to a police report that surfaced on the internet. However, if you look at that police report, it seems rather suspect, as there are some odd spelling errors and it just doesn't add up. So while almost every single rapper tries to push off some story to talk about how tough they are, 50 Cent isn't joking when he was shot, and whether it was 3 times or 9 times, the fact of the matter is, it happened. The final myth I want to discuss today revolves around one of the most iconic tongues in all of music history, that of the one and only Gene Simmons from Kiss. Perhaps the only better known tongue is that of the Rolling Stones logo, and as the story goes, early on in their career, Gene Simmons had his tongue swapped out for that of a cow. And that's why it appears so much longer and larger than your average human tongue. Come on, people, have you ever actually seen a cow tongue? This is beyond false, and yet I still hear it so frequently to this day. It's perhaps best to go to Gene himself when discussing the topic, because he stated many times that in his early teens he realized his tongue was much larger and longer than most others, but as he put it, he would find later that it was a benefit with the women. Gene Simmons, always in character, but with a very human tongue. So those are the myths for this week. Be sure to check back here every Thursday as I dig into some of the greatest stories in music history, and be here every day for all the music news, reviews, and knowledge you'll ever need.